if y'all haven't been to a Frank Kern event, I want to introduce you to Frank Kern. He's an OG. They call him Uncle Frank. They call him the original. They call him high level. They call him everything. But Frank, for those that
really, just random awful names.
for those that didn't have a chance to jump in yesterday, Frank, do you mind maybe giving us a little bit of a recap of what you went over, why you went over that, and what we're jumping into today? I do want to get straight to it. To keep an eye on the chat. And then I will tee up some of these questions here for you. But if you don't mind taking the wheel, I'm going to just put my seatbelt on extra tight and go for the ride.
Man, I was hoping I could just give like this long, rambling version of my life story that was totally irrelevant to anything but made me feel important. But if we have to stick to it, I guess we'll, stick to the program. Yeah, I don't know. If y'all don't know me, I'm really unimportant. I'm just some dude. I've been selling stuff online for 26 years. Good God. As of last month, I started in 1999. And the reason this particular workshop is important to me is because before I was lucky enough to just literally stumble across the internet. I saw an ad for a course on how to sell things on the internet. And it was for $297, I think, $297 or $397. And I didn't have any money, so me and my friend split it. And that's how I got started online. But prior to that, I was a door-to-door credit card machine salesman. There's something about the local business thing that is just very endearing to me, because it's if you can help them, you're just really doing good. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing good stuff for good people, and not to sound like cheesy or whatever. What's the word? Virtue signaling or something? I don't know, whatever the phrase is. Not to be like that, but I think it's just cool to like actually do good stuff and help people. It's awesome. So what we worked on yesterday was turning off the inner skeptic, not the skeptic of, oh, high level doesn't work, but the skeptic of yourself. So in 26 years, what I've observed is, and I think last count, it was 82,000 people have paid me to help them with marketing and stuff. And I think the last count was in like 2018. Biggest obstacle is a combination of these two. So maybe one's number one, one's number two, or whatever. This is the top two: overwhelm and self-doubt. Those are the killers. So I was like, okay, let's try to make that go away. And that's what we tried to do yesterday. And hopefully even if we were moderately successful, that was good. So what we learned yesterday is like, dude, one, you don't have to pretend like you know everything about high level or about software. Like, if someone says, how does it work? And you're like, I don't know, but the company's awesome. They've got 1,000 people that work for them just in customer service. And like, here, look, and you just show it to them. That's good enough. People appreciate the honesty. We learned that you don't have to try to be who you're not. You don't have to try to look professional. In fact, because you're dealing with local businesses that are, generally within a couple mile radius of your house, because those are the ones you likely frequent, it's not like you got to put on a suit and tie or anything. You just go in there dressed like a normal person. The fact that people even talk to me with this many tattoos, I'm 6'2" and 250 pounds. Like, I look like I ate a biker, you can just be a complete weirdo and you're still going to be okay. And the reason why is because when we're dealing with the hyper local folks, number one, they probably know you or you have an acquaintance in common. I'll show you how to leverage that today, but not in a weird way. Number two, people appreciate authenticity. And generally speaking, the small owner-operated business, they don't like the big corporate sales rep folks. They don't care for them. They don't trust them, So that was what we were really trying to drive home yesterday. That, and the fact that the stuff that we're selling, high level has 8 zillion features. It's amazing. We're focusing on this one simple feature, which is reviews. It's something they already want. Like, we don't have to sell anybody on the idea that, like, hey, if you have a lot of positive reviews, it's good. Like, I don't think anyone's going to say, nope, not true. Like, they already know it. They already want it, So that was our mission yesterday, was just to shut off the self-doubt and the worry of perfectionism and be like, dude, we're just helping people get reviews. It's not a big deal. So that's where we were. And so what we're going to do today is I'll show you how to get your first, that's right there on the screen, I think, sharing it. How to get your
haven't
first
shared it
customer
yet.
fast. Oh, well, never mind.
Just because, Frank, and if you don't mind here, there are a lot of questions from the heart coming in this chat today.
Well, I'm not a doctor.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So, I mean, I did go to University of Georgia for 12 weeks, and I majored in pre-veterinary medicine. So I'm like basically a doctor. So I think I'm qualified to go ahead and answer cardiovascular questions if you have them. Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And to that note, folks are like, there's a lot of blur for new people. There's a lot of blur for people that haven't really got the result yet, and they're here because they're looking for the answer from your point of view, right? And one of the questions is, Frank, I don't know if SaaS is for me anymore. And Frank, you're familiar with this, SaaS and unlimited sub accounts and combining features and paid ads and SEO and all these different things. You're going to be talking about getting your first customer. But aside from the actual settings part, if we were to shut everything off in high level and just have the reputation management feature with the contacts and conversations, like what would you say to somebody like to do next?
Go sell that. Because nobody, I mean, obviously, this is a general statement. Maybe there's somebody that does this, but the lady with the pizza restaurant is not waking up in the middle of the night going, if only someone would sell me some SaaS or set me up with a sub account. Like nobody cares. So we don't sell software. I mean, technically speaking, we do, but we don't go out and talk about software or features or anything. We sell more reviews. How do you get more reviews? It's like, this thing, how does it work? Dude, I don't know. It's made by computer people. Like, how does the freaking electrical system work? Who knows? But the refrigerator comes on. You want to see it? That's a totally viable and acceptable answer to that question. And it's so much more appreciated than like trying to, explain to somebody how all this stuff works mechanically.
Mm-hmm. And another question here that came up frequently was, how do you describe the end result without just saying get you more reviews? What's that emotional connection sound like from like, to really connect with a business owner outside of just, I want to get you more reviews. You need more reviews. Reviews are important. Reviews is how people buy. Like, how does a Frank Kern advise his students? Like, you got to say it this way with this intent to understand it. This is the end result.
I will show you because I wrote what we have now deemed the magic email because we couldn't think of a cooler name. But I actually wrote this thing that I'm going to give you today that positions it in a way where you're saying it properly. But we don't go in and say, hey, you want some reviews? Like we actually don't go in and say anything. They come to you and then you take the conversation from there. But it's not really about reviews. It's like, at the end of the day, that's the mechanism by which they feed their ego, because their identity is often attached directly to the business, especially a local small business owner. Like my barber, Vinny, he is Vinny the barber. I mean, it's like they are inseparable. He's not Vinny and a barber. He is a barber. It's his identity. The chiropractor, that's that person's identity. So we're really selling them having positive reinforcement and reassurance and looking good in public. And we're selling them being publicly better than their competitors. Because if you have more reviews than your competitors, you're winning, and everybody wants that. So that's kind of the underlying emotional drivers. But it's not something that you really need to come out and explicitly say. Because once they see it, it speaks for itself, So I hate selling. I was a door-to-door salesman. Like I said, it was terrible. That's the whole reason I got on the internet, is because I didn't want to have to actually talk to people because I'm such an introvert. This is why I have these many tattoos. Is like, I want to look like someone that you will not want to go up and ask for directions. It's not because I'm a bad person. It's because I'm super shy, So I get it, right? So I'm not a big fan of like trying to get someone to do anything. I much prefer to let them come to me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, cool, man. But here, try this, and they're like, oh, well, insert buying question here, and then you answer questions and go, like, what do you want to do? And then that's kind of the closing question. It's not. I don't do the whole sales thing, kind of
Yep.
a natural flow.
And I appreciate you just unpacking this. Like we're giving them the end result of what they want. This is what people have been asking randomly up until late last night. The same question in different versions. And the last one that's been almost remixed is, how much, Frank, do I charge? How much do I charge? What should I do? I do a setup fee? Do I not? Do I do 97, 297, 497, 389, 199? What do I do? Can you just maybe give a little bit of advice around the strategy of how you should even think about pricing versus what the price should be?
Dude, this is the worst answer, but it's the true one.
Mm-hmm.
I just make it up. I don't know, dude. I'm like, what's going to be the easiest here? 197, and then we'll see if it works. And I'm like, nobody goes at 197. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to change the price. But I never really give a lot of, thought about price from a strategy standpoint. I was like, okay, is this thing generally bought within this price range? So it's like,
Okay, that's it.
if this
So
is
again,
what it
the
normally
price
costs,
range.
we charge significantly more, the same, or less. And I kind of like to go a little less, make it even easier for them to say yes to. Because when somebody gets this, it's sticky. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like you're going to sign up for this as the pizza restaurant or whatever and be like, okay, I don't want any more reviews. So if we make it where it's something they don't really think about because it's not enough to worry about, and it's delivering results, then they're just going to keep paying forever. And that's the deal. We were talking yesterday, like, hey, let's walk. Let's not sprint. If you just walk and you're picking up a couple, customers a week, whatever, like month 4 or something, you got a nice recurring income stream where you might not have to do anything depending on what your, income and expenses are or where you live. If you live here in California, of course, you have to work until the 15 more, reincarnations. But if you live other parts of the world, you probably don't have to really get that many customers. You're going to be all right.
So correct me if I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, please do correct me.
I'll do it in a really impolite way, though.
Yeah. Price range is important. So do your research in your area. If you're going to tee yourself up with 2 or 3 major competitors or 2 or 3 just local known marketing companies, have a price range, and then almost kind of like, not that you don't care, but just be natural, be you. They'll gravitate to you, and then you can kind of start to navigate what that looks like if it's going to be a solo product or combined with something else that you're offering.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of the solo product, man. Because like I remember I white labeled high level and like bundled all the stuff together and built this freaking unbelievably cool yet extremely complex system. And my customers were like, how do I work this gigantic freaking thing? And I was like, I should have just made 2 features or whatever. So I'm a huge fan of just sell it for whatever is an easy yes. Like 197 or something is what, $6 and change a day. It's not really, you don't have to sleep on that as a business owner. And there's an easy yes. And the net effect of it is significantly worth more than 197. So I'm not telling you that's what to charge, but that's kind of how my brain works. It's like, where's the path of least resistance here?
Yeah.
That's
Perfect.
it.
Well, Frank, thanks for just kind of unpacking some of these Q&A from yesterday. We're just trying to get a feel of what was the common questions. And those were the 3 main common one. Look, we're about to get into day 2's Get Me My First Customer. Type in the chat just to make sure that we are still connected, still well, that we know who is here, that we need to make sure leaves here with clarity. Type in the chat, Get Me My First Customer. And I'm going to go ahead and hide in the corner here, Frank. If you need me, you give me a holler. But I'm going to pull up your screen, and I'm going to dip here to the left.
All right.
All yours, man.
Let's become jiggy with it. All right. Am I going to work this thing? All right. Let's see. There we go. Okay. if someone's got a problem, I believe this is taken from Vanilla Ice's Ice Baby. If someone has a problem and you can solve it, it's not really that hard to get them to become a customer. If the problem is something that's bothering them and the solution, the cost of the solution is cheaper than the value of having the problem go away. It's just not something where you have to be a good salesman. And the reason I bring this up is because, like I told you earlier, I absolutely hate sales. I like writing it. I'm okay about, in video, but like person to person on stage, can't stand it. Just not my thing. Don't like it. Not good at it. So I think it's a really good idea to try to stack the odds in your favor so you don't really have to, do traditional sales stuff. So this is a real thing. All right. I don't hear too good because I used to say, more guitar in the monitors, please. Almost every night for 4 years straight. I was a touring musician. I was a lead guitar player. And if anyone's ever been in a band, the freaking lead guitar players, we always want it louder in the monitors so we can hear ourselves because we're egomaniacal idiots. And now, shockingly, I can't hear. My ears sound like there's just like a freaking siren going off in them all the time. So like if you and I are talking, you're going to sound like this, and I'm just going to be looking going, yeah, but for all I know, you could be telling me the worst things in the world. I have no clue. So, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you the story. It said right there on the slide, don't forget to tell the story. So anyway, it finally gets to the point where it's bugging me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to get a hearing aid. And I was like, fine, I'll get one. Because after a while, you start to annoy your family, and like I'm at dinner with my wife and I'm like leaning this close to her so I can hear her. And, people at the other table are probably like, what's up with this dude? This guy's kind of weird, but I can't freaking hear. So I do the Googling, find a audiologist, I think is the term. And I call them and I get the machine and I'm like, hi, my name's Frank. I live about 3 miles from you. I have really, really bad, I forgot the pronounce. I call it tinnitus. I think they pronounce it differently. But I got real bad ringing in my ears. I can't hear nothing. And I said, I've got insurance. And even if you don't take my insurance, I've got Amex. I don't care what it costs. I'm tired of the freaking ringing in my ears. Please take my money. I can come in whenever you want to. That was the message. Literally, please take my money. All right. So I'm figuring, 30 seconds from now, they're going to call me and they're going to sell me something. And that did not happen. I got nothing back. They never called me. And I had to call them again, like a month later. And then nothing happened. And I finally called them a third time. God forbid I call another one, but I'm weird like that. And they were closer. And then I finally got an appointment. And the lady was like, yeah, dude, remember all those commercials? And they're like, wear protection for your ears. You should have listened. I'm like, duh. So anyway, almost all local businesses do dumb stuff like this. Like they just don't follow up. Like in general. So if they're not even calling somebody back, it's incidentally, like these hearing aids are like $6,000, So if they're not calling somebody back that is in one of the most affluent areas of the United States, saying to them, I have insurance, and if for whatever reason you don't want to mess with it, I'll just pay you for it, then is a bad thing, So like if they ain't doing that, imagine all the other stuff they're doing. They're certainly not asking people for reviews properly. So I'm bringing this up to sort of dovetail from what we went over yesterday, which is there's a whole lot more of them than they are of us. I forgot how many gazillion small businesses there are, but there's a bunch more than there are of us. And somewhere on the internet, it must be true because it says it right there on the internet. I think I read it on Microsoft, like 5 point something million are started every day. So we're never going to run out of customers. And generally speaking, they all do this kind of dumb stuff because nobody teaches them how to do right for marketing. So like, yay, for us because we can help them. All right. And high level can fix that problem, which is good. And I like that. And you don't have to position yourself as the person who fixes it. You're like, yeah, I sell this software. It's called high level. Because they might be like, dude, you look like a psychopath with a tattoo on your neck of a skull, and the skull says speed on it. What kind of weirdo are you? And I can be like, the worst kind, but this software works, and I'm still probably going to be okay. So, important thing here, this would be important to me anyway. High level really works. So when you're going and speaking with these people after they have invited you to, by the way, you can be very confident that the thing you're giving them actually delivers on your promise, because the last thing you want to do, especially in your hometown, is like sell somebody something that sucks. Like, we don't want to do that, period. But we really, really don't want to do it when it's our neighbor and now everybody knows, So you don't have to worry about that with high levels. I just wanted to put that in there. It really is something to be proud of. This is just a personal thing, but I have this like grand, somewhat delusional dream of like, okay, if we can together just raise like, the whatever it is, gross median income or something of all businesses by like 1%, that would make such a massive difference on a global scale for everybody. And so like, it's a good, worthwhile mission to do. So anyway, with all of that said, here's our winning formula. Okay. Remember, the first thing I told you was like, hey, someone's got a problem and you can fix that problem. And the cost to fix the problem is a lot cheaper than the cost of the problem itself. Ain't that hard to sell? So step number one is we want to find people with problems, was to stand on the street corner. Any of y'all got a problem? That'll end well. Don't do that. So once we find those people, we offer to show them how to make the problems go away. And the way we do that is we do a demo for them. And ideally, they ask us to. We don't just go to them and say, let me do a demo for this, because we don't want to do that. We want them coming to you. All right. And then step 3 is we let them pay you to solve the problem. And ideally, they will ask you to pay you to solve the problem. We don't want to be like, so do you want it? We want them to ask you. And I'll walk you through the whole structure. So today is getting our foot in the door. Tomorrow we talk about the sales call, which is really not a sales call at all. And then our 4th step is let them tell their friends about you, because it's local. And if you do a good job, which you will. I mean, it's almost impossible not to with this thing. Then they will tell their friends about you, especially if you ask. All right. So how do you find people with problems? Now, JB, I might need your help because I've got screenshots, but of course, y'all were like, okay, let's update the user interface of this tool right before Frank teaches his class so he can look dumber than usual. So if you're still on, you might want to pull up the thing in here.
Covered. I'm here, Frank. I didn't go food shopping. I didn't go buy lunch. I'm here.
All right.
I got your back, man.
Here, like most businesses have the same problems. We talked about this yesterday. So all we got to do really, instead of, okay, I'm going to just become the global person for, reputation management, just start with a list of local businesses. We're not quite ready for the thing yet, but we're getting there. So I'm like prepping you. Hang on. Guys, I don't talk really like ever, which is kind of weird, but whatever. So I lose my voice pretty fast. So the first thing you do is we start with a list of local businesses. And ideally, you're not going to like go and door knock these people or anything. Don't worry, that's not where we're headed. But ideally, we want a list of 100 businesses that you or someone close to you has been a customer of. All right. So grab a pen and paper and just brainstorm with me if you want to. Or if you don't, that's okay. Just do it later, but this is an effective strategy. So who cuts your hair? For me, it's my man, Vinny. I like Vinny. I drive like 40 minutes to go get my hair cut by Vinny because I don't want to have to meet a stranger. That's how strange I am. Who fixes your house? We got electricity stuff. Like I have a magic touch that can make electrical systems just quit working. I got my man Ryan, the electrician. I know that dude. Who fixes your car? This dude from Boston named Jimmy. And like he exactly like you would think he sounds. It's hilarious. Can't really understand what he's saying. His accent's so thick. And he would say the same thing about me because I'm from Georgia. Who sold you your car? Can't remember. Who cuts your lawn? Don't know. I'm a renter. Who keeps your pets healthy? Bark Bus. I was doing taxes on Sunday. Dear God, the annual expense of grooming these dang dogs that are my punishment for being a bad person is ridiculous. But who does that kind of stuff for you? Your vet. Who makes the best pizza? Who you eating at? Who sells your favorite drink? What's your favorite bar? Where's your favorite meal from a restaurant? Like not your mom or your husband or whatever it may be. Who sells you flowers? Floral Palette, right down the road. Who makes your favorite dessert? Pomegranate, downtown San Diego. People call them a Russian restaurant. Technically, they're Georgian. Who paints your house? I ain't even know. Who built your deck? No idea. But my former house, forgot the lady's name. Oh well, can't remember. Erin was her name. Who paved your driveway? Who fixes your teeth? I'm supposed to say teeth, but I'm not real good at spelling. Who fixes your teeth? Who fixes your teeth? Who keeps you beautiful? I think we all know the answer to that one for me, right? Yeah, I'm on the Keith Richards health plan. You probably couldn't tell. Who cracks your back? Oh, dude, my man Corey. All right, who does your taxes? My man Jimmy. You probably have like a similar list. Like if you listed this out, you're not gonna know the answer to all of them, but you'll know the answer to some of them. Okay, so you find your who, and then you do the same thing for your spouse, right? Or your old man or your old lady, which is obviously the proper nomenclature. All women refer to their husbands as that's my old man over there, and all husbands refer to their wife as that's the old lady. At least if you're from the South, and it's not derogatory. All right, so ask them the same thing. Where you get your hair did, who fixes your house? It'll be the same thing. All right, so you get it. All right. I'm not going to make you go through the same slide twice. I don't know what I was thinking with that one. Okay. Bottom line is, it's not that easy, or it's not that hard, rather, to come up with 100 or so businesses that you have some connection with. Like even if your cousin went there, then you still have a connection with them, and you don't have to pretend it was you. I'm not telling you to, invent non-existent facts or anything. But lowest tech, surefire freaking method is just to make a list and then figure out a way to send them this magic email I'm going to give you, which is Google, magical tool. All right. Every single one of those folks are absolutely perfect prospects for this type of business. Because if you got 100 of them and you went to all 100 of them and you just spied on them, not that there's anything weird about that, but if you just, looking in the window, you would see that, maybe 4 of them have some kind of system for like getting reviews of their business, and that system sucks. Like we've all been there, right? So you go to the store and then there's like, a QR code on the outside window that's like 12 feet from the door that 1 out of every 7,000 people might use to, leave a review or something. Like that's their system. You know what I mean? So all these folks, generally speaking, are perfect for this particular, feature of high level, and likely perfect for other features of high level as well. But I want to stay focused on this one thing because it's just such a no-brainer. It's easy to sell. And like I said yesterday, we call them hyper local, so there's like local within the city of San Diego, and then there's super local in the neighborhood of La Jolla Shores. That's what I mean by hyper local. You do whatever you want to, but I would start with hyper local. It's simpler. They know you, or they know someone that you know. That's called affinity. Affinity breeds trust. Okay. All right. So already done, said that, but this is actually an important distinction. We want these local businesses to have you or someone you know as a customer. Not every business has to, but when we're first starting, I want to go with the lowest hanging fruit because I want to get you quick wins, because like once you get one and you're like, oh man, that wasn't so bad at all, then the rest of them are significantly like having children. Once you have a child and you've made it through the first like 4 years, you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad. And, next thing you know, you got more kids. I got 4 of them. So that's where we're starting with this really lowest hanging fruit here. These folks are, and I'm sorry to break eye contact, just my slides are right there. If I put them in front of the camera's going to be, too close. No one wants to be that close on camera here. So I think they're the easiest to sell to without question. All righty. First 5 customers can probably come from that list you just made. And if I don't want to make some sort of unsubstantiated claim, but in my opinion, you can get them in a maximum of 2 weeks with just like normal amount of work. I'm not going to say, oh, you can get them in 2 weeks with 10 seconds a day. That's stupid. But you can get them in 2 weeks if you just like try, it's really, we're not doing anything particularly difficult, especially if you use our little magic email that I'll show you. So after that, potentially, after you get that first 5, potentially, okay, keep that in mind for the disclosure, not making income claims here, but you could potentially just live off referrals after that. Because if it almost sounds like MLM here, if those 5 tell 2, and then you get one of those 2, and then each one of those 2 tell 2, you're just a perpetual machine of incoming customers. Or maybe they won't. I don't know, but I would ask them to. Okay, so for these types of businesses specifically, with this specific feature, which is getting the reviews. All right. So we're like laser focused on this one thing. Sell whatever you want to, but for this session, we're talking about the review thing because it's so mindlessly easy to sell and they already want the end result. All right. So like, why try to convince them of something? There's zero question at all that high level system can get them more reviews. The only way it couldn't get them more reviews is if they don't have any customers, right? That's the only way it wouldn't get them reviews. If they have customers, it's getting them reviews, period, end of story. So you can really be confident with this. So here's how you sort them out. Numero uno, if you haven't already, get on your kickoff call with high level. So like they can show you how it works. It's not really hard or anything, but are you really going to read the directions? I'm not. I have a software company and nobody reads the directions. They're like, how do I do this? My favorite is when they reply to the welcome email that says, here's how to get help. And it gives them the link. And then their question to me is, where do I get help? I'm like, okay, that email, so you ain't gonna read the directions. I don't either, so get on your kickoff call with these folks. They're cool. They'll help you get set up. Okay, now, JB, this is where you guys probably, as in an effort, because the whole world revolves around me personally, in an effort to throw me off my game, change this user interface on the prospect machine to look different.
Well, Frank, do you mind if we just kind of just sit right here for a minute?
I mean, I just mind so much. Really a diva.
I love it.
Please address me as Princess Unicorn.
Well, it's going to take a little while to get that far, Frank. I don't want to get in trouble now here, but
that is the preferred name. How dare you?
Well, let me put it this way. We're about to give them an excuse, right? And we talked about this offline, right? I said, Frank, if I was a coaching client of yours and I'm super techie and I'm deep in the weeds, I'm the guy that'll buy a Mac Mini and I'll buy a new laptop and then I'm going to buy a special keyboard and a special mouse and I'm going to buy this apparatus for my car so I can put the laptop in there and I'm going to go local, right? And I just created all this extra spending of money and energy. And I haven't even talked to anybody yet. I haven't even picked up the phone, nor have I even got my one-liner going. could we just, before we give them a tool, which a lot of people are familiar with the tool, a lot aren't. So this could be the missing puzzle piece of what they've been looking for to build this confidence. What is like your opening, like what is your opening one-liner? Like if we were just here, Frank, and I'm the guy that has the pizza shop. And we just, I look at you and I'm like, what's going on, man? And you kind of know that I'm looking at you like I know you from somewhere, but I don't know you from somewhere. How do you open this up? Because that's like a lot of the questions of like, how do I open it up?
I don't. I send the magic email and let them come to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not like, if I'm in a place and someone's looking at me like they want to talk to me, I'm going to leave because I'm an introvert. Like I'm that freaking weird.
So the only thing here, so this is going to resonate with a lot of people. The email we're going to go over is a good way of just getting yourself out there without overcomplicating why you need to ask a million questions or why you need to stop by a million businesses. Just send this one email out, make a list from that email, and then if you want to deliberately go there with everything you've bought and put together, then you can.
My theory is the person that is, getting ready, because that's all that is, I got the new computer, I got the new mouse, and, all that is a fear of rejection. So they're putting off getting rejected, which I understand because getting rejected sucks. So that's why I'm kind of, put this together, because this really minimizes the, painful rejection process. That's the whole reason I'm in business, is because I got the door slammed in my face, metaphorically and sometimes literally, for years. And I was like, well, this is just not a good time at all. I don't want to experience this ever again. So that's the whole, I'm with you. I understand exactly what that individual is going through and why. And it does totally suck to be rejected. So you'll still have people not interested, but you're not going to get like, the embarrassing thrown out of the business. Like I actually got kicked out of a restaurant once and I was trying to sell them something. And people I graduated high school with were watching. I was like, come on. And I was already the guy that was supposed to be the loser, So I'm like, damn it.
What about the guy or gal that just talks so much and they're not listening enough? They're going to come in with a bunch of, questions, and they're talking about the weather. They're throwing a little bit of politics. They're trying to be likable. They're trying to get their attention, and they never let the person on the other side speak or share what they're looking for or ask the right questions. What advice do you have for that person?
Stop doing that. I mean, I don't really know any other way to say that. I have a friend, former client, now friend. Her name was Brooke Castillo, and she had this program that would help people stop over drinking. And I was like, well, how do you do it? And she would go, well, you stop over drinking. That was the joke, because it was like, how do you stop over drinking? Well, you stop over drinking. And like this, you just stop doing that. There's a whole Bob Newhart skit about it that's hilarious. But seriously, just don't do that. It's kind of like, what about the person who just likes to wake up in the morning and hit themselves in the face with an encyclopedia? Like, well, don't do that anymore.
It's so basic. Like, you've been doing this for decades, right? Like the same person that is brand new could teach what you're teaching. And it's like, okay, that's not going to work. And then you come in with your experience and your clients and customers and all this other stuff, and it starts to click. And I think that's the big difference here. It's what are you listening to and why are you listening to it? And the customer that you're ideally want to acquire feels the same way about you. Why am I listening to him, and why do I want to spend money with him versus the four other people that sold me the same thing or similar to the same thing?
Yeah, and what's most likely that person's experience is probably no one's really sold them this. They've been sold like, I'll run ads for you or something, and I bought radio ads or whatever, and those things didn't work, And usually, by the way, it's not the agency's fault, like they didn't answer the phone or they never followed up with the leads, just I wouldn't even get in that conversation. They're like, oh, I bought stuff and it didn't work. Like, oh man, that must have sucked. Yep. And then stop talking and then be like, so anyway, what do you want to do?
Yeah. And I agree. I'm going to ask the audience a few questions here, Frank. because I know we're going to jump into the next tool that I got my screen open here. But the audience, this is for you. What's one business that you'll contact in the next 24 hours? Based on what you learned today, what's one business that you'll contact in the next 24 hours? Type that in the chat for me, okay? And who wants to be held accountable and wants someone to check in on them? Type in the chat, check in. That means you're welcoming someone in the chat to connect with you and say, hey, how'd you go? Did you send out that email? Did you take a first step? Type in the chat, check in. If you want to network with each other and be open to someone saying, hey, did you check? Did you get to do what you were supposed to do? Right? I want you to type in the chat here, and this will come a little delayed, so it's okay. I want you to type in the chat booked if you've already booked your first demo. If you already have high level and you've already booked your first demo, type in the chat booked. JB, I got my first demo already. It's just that these people are procrastinators, or I get these stupid objections. Next question is, what are the objections you get? What are all the objections? Just to spam the chat. Don't chat GPT objections. Just let me know what objections do you get naturally being you, positioning high level, positioning one feature within high level. Type it in the chat. And then the last question for right now is, what objection do you fear the most? What question do you fear the most? If somebody were to ask you, how much does this cost? Is that the question you fear the most? If somebody were to ask you, is this HIPAA compliant? Is that something you fear the most? Or is the question that you fear the most, what's the guarantee? Or what is it? What's that question? Type it in the chat. So I'm going to compile these questions. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask Frank to help me out, to help y'all out, and get some answers for y'all.
You're really not going to like my answer for that.
I know, Frank, but it's worth a try, man. Because if I say the answers, it's not the same like you say it. So
there's only one answer. It's okay.
Yeah, just work with me.
Anything else I can help you with? Because like we've already established there's so many more of them than there are of us. It's like, all right, bye. Next.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And this is why the marketing audit report that we were talking about offline, you didn't, like, when you first started, like, you wish you guys had this sooner, because you'd have this the widget on the website as the lead magnet collecting all day. Frank, if you're cool with it, if you don't mind kind of running through what you have there, and then sure. I'm going to just send a link of what a finished report looks like for people could just see it for themselves.
And you know what's funny is I don't really use the whole thing. So what we want to do is essentially find people that are super low hanging fruit. And well, here, I'll just walk you through it. Okay, so there's that. All right. So High Level's got this thing called the prospecting tool, and they made it look cooler than this, you know, because they were like, let's change the way it looks before the thing. It's like Facebook. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to teach Facebook ads tomorrow. And you log in there and they're like, ha, we hid the stuff. But that's because they're always making stuff better. Really liking the new workflow builder, by the way. Like, I'm such a super nerd with high level stuff. Like, I like making like super complex workflows, and crazy about the new workflow builder. Anyway, go to this thing and click on prospecting. And I guess you can't really see the fact that I'm pointing at the screen, but where the red square is, add prospect. All right. And then type in the name of a business in your area. All right. So extremely difficult. I mean, you could copy and paste really if you wanted to. That's two things. It's faster than typing. All right. So slap them in there, hit go, and then you'll see them. And what you want to do is you want to look at their preview stats. And if they have less reviews than their customers, then you're in, because this whole thing appeals to ego. Imagine you're the person with HG coal-fired pizza. Whoops. All right. And, you know, everyone else has got more stuff than you. Let's see. Damn it. And come on. There we go. I'm using the mouse instead of my thing. And you got all these folks that, you know, have more ratings than you or whatever. Then how are they going to not want it? Like, you don't have to rub their nose in it. You can be like, you know, I was looking, and I'll show you what to send in a minute. But here's how easy it is right? So let's say I'm in Oceanside, California. I can just type in Italian restaurant Oceanside, and I can see all of them. I can call the one that's the 4.3 and be like, dude, you're the lowest rated, and I don't think that's right. You want some help with that? Actually, you don't have to call them. We got the email, but that's kind of the logic. It's like they're just right there. You can find them immediately, and you can actually see who's got reviews and who doesn't. And the ones that you lowest hanging fruit are either the ones with the most because they want to remain on top, or the ones that are losing. Either way, you're doing pretty good. All right. So if they have less reviews or a lower review than their competitors, like, oh, Dominic over there, he's just, isn't as good, clearly. All right. People hating on Dominic. They like Chow Restaurant and Veneto's and Mangia I Belli, but not so much Dominic. Dominic is like, that's got to be driving Dominic crazy. So it's an ego thing, ego and significance. And of course, it helps business. But whenever you've got these massive psychological triggers on your side, makes the sale a lot easier, So after you've found some of these folks, you're ready to reach out to them. So now you get in the car and you drive there and you make an ass of yourself. No, you don't do that at all. That's a joke. All right. I wrote this last year, like 10 minutes before I taught our prototype of this class. And I was like, I'm just going to write an email for people to test and see, and hopefully it will work. And people sent it, and it worked. So screenshot this if you want. I'm sure it's in the course as well, but we have now come to refer to this as the magic email. All right. So let's see if I can do this in the next slide or if I can do it in here. All right, cool. All right. Subject line is, don't change this, by the way. Subject line is whatever, Vinny's. I don't know why my barber's in them. Probably because I need to get a haircut. Vinny the barber's reputation. Okay. And then, hi, my name is Frank. I live here in La Jolla. And now you have the connection to the business. Either I eat there sometimes on Wednesday. Obviously, you don't eat your barbershop. I get my haircut there, or my brother-in-law gets his haircut there. Just don't lie. You know what I mean? There's no need for that. So if you have no connection, then find one where you do, because it's easier. Not saying you always have to have a connection, but let's start with let's set yourself up to win. Or there was some famous fighter pilot that had a lot of confirmed planes, I guess confirmed kills or whatever. And they're like, how'd you do it? And he was like, oh, dude, it was super easy. I just blew up the planes that were on the ground. That's kind of metaphorically what you want to do. So anyway, my name is Rick James. I live here in, La Jolla, and my, my brother-in-law, Eddie, eats at your restaurant all the time. And I did a Google search for Vinny's barbershop / restaurant in La Jolla. And I noticed that Vinny's barbershop has fewer reviews and fewer positive ratings than other barbershops like, I don't know, Jimmy's barbershop or Lefty's, which is actually another great barbershop in the San Diego area, and others. I think Vinny's barbershop is awesome and should be getting much more and better reviews. I'm happy to help you with that for free. Please let me know if you're interested. The end. So you change the stuff in brackets. That's all. All right. And no, you're not giving it away for free, but you'll show them how to do it for free. And then they'll want you to do it for them. All right. So this is how you get your meeting booked. So the criteria is hyper-local. All right. You use the prospecting tool. You don't even have to run the full report. Don't run the damn thing and say, here's where you are in Google and all that kind of shit. Just be like, yeah, dude, you got less than the other one. They already know, probably. Did a search for you, yada, yada, yada. Just fill in the brackets. Don't lie about the connection, okay? And sign your name at the end of it. I didn't put that in there because type font would have been too small to read. Alrighty. So that is the magic email. Okay. So here is the mission. Just send out 10 today. Just go like make a list, email 10 of them. Some of the emails won't be right. Who knows? Who cares? This is an email. It's not like you're spending $100. We're not like physically mailing it to them in a chest made out of, sterling silver or something. So send out 10 of those suckers and book your setup call so they can like help you get familiar with how high level works, because it's really good to be confident in it and not, be scared of it. And then make another social post. And the reason I'm asking you to make the social posts is because when you do, you'll notice that nothing bad happens. I've worked with enough people that the fear is a real thing, the self-doubt and the what ifs and all of that. But I've never done this before. What if people think yada, yada, yada? And you'll make a social post and like nothing will happen. And you'll be like, oh, okay, that was nothing. And then now you can make more without worrying about it. So send 10 of these puppies out. All right. Book your call if you haven't already. They're real nice. They're not going to mess with you. Like they're just cool people. And they're like, all right, man, let me help you set this stuff up. And send out 10 of these emails, man. And then that's like the whole thing. And if tomorrow is anything like the other times that we've done this, then we're going to be hearing all kinds of crazy success stories, because both times we've taught this, we're just like, proportionally speaking to however many people are participating, is a metric crap load. And that is a unit of measurement in Europe of people that are like, oh my God, dude, these people want to meet with me. What the hell do I do now? And that's exactly what we want, because tomorrow I'll show you what to do when you follow up with them. But we only follow up with them when they write you back, because now they're engaged and they're talking to you. And we're not trying to go out there and push anything on anybody. We're going to show them how to get more reviews, and we're going to show them how to do that without charging them any money. And that conversation is going to lead them to say, okay, well, how does it work? Can you set this up for me? And the way you're going to make them say that is you're going to be like, yeah, so anyway, I have a tool that can do it or whatever. What do you want to do? And that's your heart will close right there.
I was able to go into the archives, man. I know we were talking about this late yesterday before we got off, and like, JB, where's that darn sheet thing that we had all those things that we read them off and stuff? And this, I found it actually a few minutes ago, and this was the result. And I know with the audience we have and the evolution we've had, we could absolutely get a great response. But do you remember Cody Woodworth, Frank, when you were like, this was the first guy that we ended up having? You see that on your screen?
Yes. Oh, dude, I remember these.
This was crazy.
Yeah. This was the first one we ever did. And it went so well that we did another one last year. And we were like, oh my God, I mean, we should do these all the time. And then, of course, we don't have
it. And it was like this, then people started texting to people. I've been doing this for 40 years. I don't need friends to give me reviews to get work. It's not from friends. Like they were responding back with real scenarios. Mm-hmm. And then this one lady, Sarah, ended up getting her doctor, and they ended up closing business. And this was like by accident, right? Just like random. Like now we can say it, but you were like, I'm going to put something out.
Hearing from you and hearing how you can help. When can we discuss this? Look at that. That's so great. That was the owner's response.
It's crazy. And then they started doing on Facebook on the Facebook Messenger.
I want more reviews. Yeah. I mean, it's really, but that freaking email, I got lucky that day because it was, I think I wrote it on September of all days, September 11th in the morning of last year. Oh, and it works. So it's pretty solid.
And this is like the guy who's like, gets his haircut here, and I get my haircut, since you opened it, and thank you very much. And this is like real stuff. And, look, y'all, sometimes it's like too good to be true. Right. And
more. Look at that. Happy to hear more. How is it that you help on this? Wonderful.
Yeah. So I wanted to give a little sneak peek, Frank, what people should expect. It's obviously something that it's been done already by other high-level users that just started out. It's nothing, at a certain level, you get access to this. We're not unlocking anything.
And some people, by the way, will be like, I'm cool. And someone will be like, what do you got? And some of them will be like, yeah, man, I'm interested. So please, by no means, think that all 10 emails are going to get appointments. Like, it's possible. But if, someone's not interested, who cares? You're probably not going to get, I've always hated you and I want to kill you. Like, that doesn't happen, because it's just an email saying nice things about them and you have a connection to the business. And that's where it's important, right? And it's a real connection. So we're not making that up. So of course they're going to be nice to you because they don't want to ruin a relationship with a customer or someone who's associated with a customer. So the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to be like, we're good. Or what are you selling? And that's literally it. So there's no, slamming the door in your face and humiliation or anything like that, which I personally don't care for, which is why I'm on the internet all the time because I hated it. That's what got me here.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, Frank, I want to fire some questions out to the audience. For selfish reasons, tomorrow's our last day together, and I want to make sure we're maximizing because we have a lot of new high-level users that are getting started. Some of them are learning about you that, oh, wow, Frank's with high level and he's helping out and teaching this, and they're excited about it. And others are like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and we're here to show you that we could teach anybody a new trick. It's just up to you taking action. So Please just appease me here by answering some of these questions. And I promise you we'll put these questions together for Frank and your answers. Who's here got at least one idea that they're going to use to get their first customer because of what Frank has shared from his point of view, his style, and his expertise? Who's got at least one thing?
Customer, like, please, even if you're an old dog and you don't want to learn new tricks. Well, if you're an old dog, good copy works. That email works, dude. It's good copy. You just saw what happened when people sent it. Just send it.
Yeah. And then the next question is here. Who feels more confident showing the solution instead of the software now? Let me know if you feel more confident showing the solution instead of just the software. And then as we just go through this really quick, who is ready to send that email out to 5 people at the very minimum? You're going to find 5 people. You're going to send that email out that you were able to screenshot. Who's going to participate in that? Because we want to look out for you and get you in some sort of, put you in a spotlight here, right? And what kind of business are you going to reach out to? Are you going to reach out to the barbershop, the chiropractor, maybe your brother-in-law who just opened up a tinting shop? What kind of business are you reaching out to? I'm hoping that the business that you type, someone says, oh, I didn't even think about that business. I didn't think about that. I know someone who does that too.
Oh, dude, it ends up being like pulling the thread on a sweater.
Oof.
Because you start thinking, oh yeah, and then there's this one, and then there's this one. Like, I'm just now thought of like, oh man, there's a place that does the dance lessons where my daughter went for, like, when you pay for 6 months and they get tired of it after a month. Where my daughter went, and they would be perfect for this kind of thing. So yeah, it's endless. There's an endless amount of prospects for you. There's no reason to be, afraid of anything or whatever. It's really this simple. You're going to be all right. And for whatever reason, I want to tell this crazy story that has kind of something to do with this. But
should I keep my finger on the end stream button, Frank?
No, but it is like moderately inappropriate, but I'll keep it appropriate.
Right.
So, when I sold credit card machines door to door,
Frank, just remember we are live, okay?
I know.
Okay.
The head office, and I won't bother telling you how the whole credit card machine selling system works, but you work for a company, and they're like, okay, this company called in and they want us to go in there and see if we can get them a better deal on credit card processing. And it was a strip club, and it happened to be like 4 hours away. So I drive to this freaking strip club in the middle of the afternoon. All right. And I was like 25 or something. And I looked as horrible as I look now, but I was really skinny. And I lived in Macon, Georgia, where it's 20,000 degrees all the time. And I had to wear a suit, and I didn't have enough sense to realize that, like, don't buy a black wool suit when it's super hot. So I show up at this strip club at, freaking 11 in the morning or something on Monday, just pouring sweat. And I go in there and I got to meet with the owner. And he's like, all right, come on in. And believe it or not, there's activity at strip clubs at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is a shock to me. I've never really seen the appeal of that kind of place. Like, no judgment. It's just not my thing, you know? So I'm going in there. I'm like, well, this is something. There's people eating breakfast, the whole 9 yards. So I go in there. The owner is this dude that's freaking huge and like has that super intense death vibe to him. Probably, you know, I'm speculating that he may or may not have broken the law a couple times in his life. Just had that kind of, you know, energy. So I'm like, okay, dear God, you know. And his wife comes in the room, and I'm trying to pitch him on the credit card machines. She comes, sits beside him on the other side of me. So it's me, husband and wife, in a room that's tiny, you know, like 6 by 6 or something, like just little back office of a freaking strip club on a Monday. And we're talking, and they're asking me, like, you know, banking questions and stuff. And I'm like this, and then I look out of the corner of my eye, and on the wall, like this close to my face, is a photograph of the woman across from me, which is the wife of the giant murderer-looking guy, and she is completely naked. And so I'm like just dead staring at this guy in the face, and he knows at this point that I know the picture's there, and he's looking at me to see if I'm going to look at the picture. And I'm thinking, I'm about to get killed up in here. So I've never made eye contact with another man for that long in my life. And I ended up selling him 5 credit card machines and didn't get killed. And that's my story. So no matter what happens, nothing like that's probably going to happen to you. You're going to be okay.
We made it.
Yeah,
I was getting worried. Started sweating.
My story. True story, though.
I started pulling up my Slack. 911. Get off the stream.
It really happened, and I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me, dude! Like, what the heck? You know?" I'm like, "Why would that be right?" I think they did it on purpose just to mess with me. Maybe that was their thing. But I was just like,
Frank, these are the sales war stories, right? And the car dealers have them. All sales professions have them. And I was talking to somebody a while ago. They were like, man, we used to go on retreats, or we used to go on sales pep rallies. We buy a bunch of pizzas late night after hours in the lobby and just chatting up what we've done in business. And until you get some skin in the game, until you get rejected, until you get kicked in the wherever you get kicked at, you don't have any stories to share. And I think the moral of the story here, Frank, that you've been sharing is tell good stories, be authentic, be you, obviously have a purpose for the conversation, and then ask to do business. And don't worry about the tech stuff. High Level is going to take care of that for you with the kickoff call, the speak with walkthrough. You'll figure all that other stuff out. Just figure out how to be a human being and send a few emails and do a few follow-ups.
Yeah, you might not even have to do follow-ups. Like if anything like last time, the response to these emails is ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. Totally just randomly wrote it 20 minutes before the call. I was like, I don't know, maybe this will work. Sometimes we get lucky, you know, and it worked. So send it, please. It'll probably get you responses, and you'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah. Who had a heck of a time today with Frank? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't yet, go ahead and grab your phone, because they're not going to believe it that we have Frank Kern here, and we made it to the end with tons of people engaging, having great conversations, meeting each other.
Oh man, I think we lost my man. Oh, it's just me now. Oh man, they really.
No, we got it. Go ahead and grab a selfie with Frank here.
Up in here.
So,
not really.
Go ahead and grab a quick selfie with Frank. Tag Go High Level, right? Whether it's Facebook or Instagram, because we got day 3 tomorrow, Frank. Let's bring this home. What should they expect from day 3? What do they need to be prepared for? Because this is our last day together, kicking some butt.
They should expect their worst fears to be annulled, because I'm going to show how to sell this thing without actually having to sell the thing, and without having to do a lot of tech stuff, perhaps no tech stuff at all. Actually, it's killer. So the big fear, you know, we got 2 of them. Oh my God, I'm going to email them. What if they get mad at me? And then the next one is, what if they want to meet with me? And now I have to talk to them, and I like screw it up and I say something stupid, and then somehow that's recorded and it's put all over the internet and people actually watch it, and now I'm known as that stupid person. Like, that's how my brain works anyway. And we're going to make all that go away, because you're going to see exactly what to do and say, and it's just so laid back and simple, that even if the person doesn't become a customer, you had a good time, they're cool, nothing weird had, there's no pressure, you don't feel sketchy, they don't feel like, but chances are they'll want to be your customer, because it's just so logical. And remember, they already want it because they replied to the email.
Yeah. Look, we're at time, folks. Go ahead and type in the chat for me. Go high level. Go Frank Kern. Just post it there. Just that's like a form of a clap right now. If you had a great time with Frank, if you learned a few nuggets, type go high level, go Frank, type your takeaway. Frank, we're back at it tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be prepared for you to jump on 30 seconds before we're supposed to jump on. So I am ready for you for tomorrow. Just no more surprises. And
it was 2 minutes technically.
and for y'all, let's bring this home. Like, let's take away the excuses. We're about the end of the year. Let's get our first 5, 6, 15 sales. Let's get ready for next level up. Frank's given us his expertise. We got tons of other people in the community there to support. Man, Frank, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you hanging out, being cool, being collective. And I always learn something. And the audience is definitely sharing the same sentiment. So we're at time. We're going to head out.
Let's make it happen tomorrow. I have the day 3 showing up here on the screen, because that's what tomorrow is, day 3. It'll be easy. We're going to demystify the whole thing. There's nothing to it, really. It's I'm not telling you every single person's going to buy, but like the ones that don't, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be an unpleasant experience or anything. You're going to be all right.
Well, Frank, I have my finger on the end stream button. Okay. I learned here that the end stream doesn't really end the stream for like a good 5 Mississippi seconds. So just please be aware of what you say and what you do once I hit that button, and I'll do the same. Deal?
I have like right beside me the top 10 list.
No. Guys, take care. I got to go.
All right.